again. Thanks for joining us on the bright side. Pharmacist Ben here. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. 844-236-6010 is our number on the bright side. If you have questions about the longevity products, health challenges you or a loved one may be dealing with. Have you heard about the coronavirus? I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Not because I really want to talk about it, but it's just in the news and there's so much misunderstanding about it. If you got questions about the coronavirus, skin health questions, formulations, ingredients, or if you just have a comment or success story you'd like to share, we want to hear from you on the bright side. Got lines open. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine Healthy Start Pack, Glucogenics product, our new Glucogenics product, Ultimate Niacin. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products, or if you want to sign up to join the Bright Side Ben team and start a longevity business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you like the health business, if you want to be in the health business, you can call 866-735-2470, or you can click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We at Longevity are dedicated to helping you understand health and helping you help others understand health with supplements and information and ideas. We do a lot of seminars. In fact, I'm going to do a workshop this Saturday at my lab. February 29th, 2020 is the year. February 29th, 2020. My lab is at 2240 Curtis Street, the Truth Skin Health Lab, 2240 Curtis Street, Denver, Colorado, 80205. We'll talk skin health, we'll talk longevity, we'll talk formulations, we'll talk sales, and we'll just have a good time. And also, I'm going to give away, as I always do when I do my longevity talks, I'm going to give away some Beyond Tangy Tangerine, maybe some Ultimate Nightly Essence, maybe keto bars. I don't know, we'll see whatever. At least we'll give away some Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's this Saturday, 11 a.m., 2240 Curtis Street, Denver, Colorado, 80205 at the Truth Skin Health Lab. And speaking of Truth Skin Health, you can purchase our Truth Treatment products at truthtreatments.com. Truthtreatments.com. I have been formulating skin products for many years. I had a compounding pharmacy, a wound healing compounding pharmacy, where I help people heal wounds, burns, and prevent scarring, post-surgical trauma, etc., acne, psoriasis. And I learned a lot, not only about the skin, but about nutrition in the skin and about topical formulations for skin health. And what I discovered is you could do things to create changes in the skin. You could really create changes in the skin, but you had to know what you were doing from a formulation standpoint, from an ingredient standpoint, and from a skin health standpoint. And some of the things that I came up with were things that I just made up, not whole cloth, and I didn't synthesize them. They're based on understandings from pharmacy school and things that I had learned along the way. And one of the things I learned is that you shouldn't need a lot of product on your skin. Skincare products should be like medicine. You should only need a couple of drops. If you really want to create a change in the skin and the chemistry of the skin and you have an effective formulation, you should only need a couple of drops. That sounds really weird, but the idea from a chemistry standpoint, from a health professional standpoint, if you're out there slathering a moisturizer on, slathering a wrinkle cream on, slathering a sunscreen on like the way the American Academy of Dermatology tells you to do it, you are not respecting your skin. I don't mean to be rude here, but you're just not respecting your skin. And you're treating the skin not like an organ, but like some kind of inert covering. That's how we think of the skin. We think of the skin like an inert covering, like a canvas that's just a bag, like we're inside this bag. Yes, it's maybe a tight bag, but it's a bag. We don't think of it like an organ. We say it's an organ. We give it lip service. We say it's the body's largest organ. Everybody knows it's the body's largest organ. But what does that really mean? It means you got something that you got to be careful with. And if you're going to address it topically, and we can address it topically, it's on the outside, so we can address it topically, you want to be respectful. Not just you, not just us as patients, people putting stuff on our skin, but the companies that are making the products have to be respectful. They have to be respectful of the skin. They have to be respectful of ingredients. And if you're a skincare professional out there, I know we have a lot of estheticians that listen to this program, you want to be respectful of your client's skin with the product. I am shocked, absolutely blown away when I talk to dermatologists, plastic surgeons, estheticians, people who I love, people who care about their patients, and they don't even read the ingredients. One of my salespeople went to a plastic surgeon's office, a famous guy here in town, and he carries this crapola product. I'm not going to mention their name. And she went in and read off the ingredients. He didn't even know what the ingredients were. This is the plastic surgeon. He didn't even know what the ingredients were or what the effect internally, systemically was of these ingredients. Because there's this idea that the skin is just a covering. And so we don't feel bad about rubbing stuff on. I'm here to tell you, my mission in life, among others, one of my missions in life, is to have people respect the organ of the skin. I'm an advocate for the skin. I'm an advocate for your skin, and I'm an advocate for the skin, the concept of skin, the category of skin. Plato said that every idea has a sort of existence in the invisible plane. The philosopher Plato, he called it the ideal plane, or I forgot what he called it, but every idea has an existence in an invisible plane, a real existence, and skin has a real existence. And I'm an advocate for the skin, capital T, capital S, and I'm an advocate for your skin. Anyway, truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com for Truth Skin Health products. We're talking about the mind, the electrical nature of the body, the electrical nature of the mind and the body. It should be, with our understanding of bioelectricity, we should really, like with the skin, it should make sense that the body's an electrical system, and if you want to be healthy, you've got to be electrically healthy. But when we talk about electricity in the body, it's not just electricity in a big way, it's the quantum electricity. And don't get freaked out by that word quantum. That just means very small. Electricity exists not just in the kind of things that go down a wire that we can see, but also they exist at the very tiniest levels, the quantum levels. That's the levels of the electrons and the protons, and that's where health begins, at the level of the cell, the electrons and the protons. It's not vitamins. It's not the Mighty 90, by the way. And it's not the foods you eat. It's the electrons and the protons, the little pieces of electricity, we'll just call it, and that's not 100% exact, but it's good enough, little pieces of electricity. That's what it's all about, is little pieces of electricity. Now, you need food, you need supplements, you need nutrition, you need oxygen, you need movement, all the things we talk about for good health to have the correct flow of electrical energy. And you don't want the electrical energy too fast or too, you don't want it just too fast. You don't want it just flowing. It has to be controlled. Albert Einstein said, matter is frozen energy. And that's kind of the way you want to look at it. It's not totally frozen, but it's kind of solidified. That's what we were talking about a couple days ago, was the idea of fats. Fats help slow down, control the flow of electrical energy. But it's all electrical energy. And I'm not done talking about that, but I do want to talk about the coronavirus because I watched the politicians yesterday on TV talking about a commission and how they're going to study the coronavirus. And the implication is that this is some kind of black plague-like pandemic that's going to be killing 1 out of 3 people, like the bubonic plague did in the Dark Ages. This is silly with a capital S. Most people who get the coronavirus don't even, either they have very mild symptoms or they don't even know they have the coronavirus. The people who have problems are the people who are sick already. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. All right, we are back on the bright side. Thanks for listening. 844-236-6010 is our number, and we do have lines open for you. We'll get to your calls here in at the bottom of the hour, as we always do on the bright side. 844-236-6010. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, please call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470, or head to Brightside Ben, Pharmacist Ben, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. I will be doing a talk at my lab, 2240 Curtis Street, Denver, Colorado, 80205 this Saturday at 11 a.m., Saturday, February 29th, 2020. We'll talk longevity, we'll talk skin health, we'll give away some longevity products, we'll talk the business, and it'd be nice just to meet everybody. Hopefully you can come. The weather should be nice if you're in the Colorado area. You never really know in the Colorado area, but the weather should be nice this Saturday, February 29th. 2020, 11 a.m., 2240 Curtis Street, Denver, Colorado, 80205. You can purchase Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, oil, water, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy. Like medicine, skin health should be like skincare products, skin health products should be like medicine, and Truth Treatments allows you to treat your skin in that way. 1 or 2 drops of Truth Transdermal C Serum is all you need. A tiny pinch of our omega-6 healing cream is all you need for burns or cuts. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. So I was watching the whole political, that all Trump and his new coronavirus czar and all the health folks, the CDC, and all talking about this epidemic and the pandemic and what's going on. The coronavirus is a big deal. It's not a big deal. Despite the headlines, don't pay attention to headlines. Don't pay attention to mainstream media. It's funny, most of us know not to pay attention to mainstream media, but when it comes to things about our health, we pay attention to mainstream media. Despite the headlines, they got to have headlines. They got to freak you out. Despite the headlines, most people who get the coronavirus will be just fine. Many of them won't even know they had the coronavirus. If you have an autoimmune disease, you're going to have a problem. Maybe. Or let me put it this way. You're going to have more chances of having a problem if you have an autoimmune disease. If you're on prednisone, if you're on a steroid, if you're on any drugs, if you're a diabetic, if you have cancer, if you are elderly and you haven't been taking care of yourself. Not all elderly people, of course, but if you're elderly and haven't been taking care of yourself, yeah, you're going to have greater chances of responding to the coronavirus in an unfortunate fashion. The trick is to take care of yourself. We don't need the government. We don't need health authorities to tell us to take care of ourselves. Get yourself on high doses of vitamin C. You can go to the health, for now anyway. If you're in Europe, you can't do it. But for now, you can go to the health food store and get some vitamin C powder. And do it every day. Get your Beyond Tangerine. That's got vitamin C, and it's got the B complex, and it's got vitamin A. And by the way, vitamin A is one of the most powerful immune vitamins you could ever use. How many people, present company excluded, of course, how many people are out there, not you guys listening, but of your friends, or taking 20,000 IU of vitamin A? I would venture to say very few. How many people are hand-wringing about the coronavirus are taking 20,000 IU of vitamin A and 3,000 or 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 400 IU of vitamin E a day, mixed tocopherols? How many? Did the World Health Organization say we recommend everybody takes vitamin C, one of the most powerful immune boosting, antiviral, general health supplements you could ever take? Did they say that at the CDC say that? If mainstream media and the CDC is not telling me to take vitamin C and zinc and vitamin A and build my immune system and the B complex and not eat sugar and not take prescription drugs unless I absolutely positively had to, then I'm not paying attention to them. Then they're full of baloney, the way I look at it. So don't worry about the coronavirus. And by the way, the coronavirus affects men more than women for a very interesting reason. That reason is called estrogen. Estrogen is an immune-stimulating substance. It stimulates the immune system. This is why women are not as prone to get the coronavirus. It's more of a man thing. Interestingly, the estrogen, which gets such a bad rap, actually strengthens the immune system. Testosterone suppresses the immune system. There's some interesting evolutionary reasons for that, but that also accounts for the fact that women suffer from autoimmune diseases at a far greater rate than men do. Estrogen is very tricky stuff, and learning how to deal with estrogen is incredibly important. By the way, there's a little hint there. If you know that estrogen supports the immune system, you might want to consider using things that are like estrogen, not estrogen. Estrogen itself is not advisable that anybody uses estrogen, in my opinion. Now, I don't care about the whole feminine thing and the youth thing. And you know, it's interesting because if you are low estrogen, when your estrogen starts to drop and you take estrogen, you're going to get a relaxation of your symptoms. And that relaxation of the symptoms doesn't have to do with estrogen as much as it has to do with the fact that now the body has less toxic estrogens to deal with. And there's some really complicated biochemistry behind that. But it's not really the estrogen that's giving you the benefit. It's the fact that now the body is still processing estrogen and not producing as much catechol estrogens. When you take estrogens for a short period of time, you're going to notice some benefit, and people think that it's a good thing. It's not necessarily a good thing, and we know when estrogen breaks down, it forms toxic estrogens. The real key is to use progesterone. Progesterone makes your body sensitive to estrogen naturally. Estrogen is a powerful, powerful substance. If you look at the way the hormones are processed, the steroid hormones are processed, in biochemistry and chemistry, it's always A going to B, going to C, going to D. That's how the whole body works. That's all biochemistry. A molecule starts off as A, it gets transformed to B, it gets transformed to C, it gets transformed to D, and on and on and on. That's biochemistry. Now, I just simplified what's happening in the body very dramatically, because that whole that's called the pathways, by the way. Those biochemical pathways are happening in an infinite amount of time, essentially an infinite amount of time. Times in the body, you got 100 trillion cells. You can just figure out, do the math. But simply put, biochemistry is A getting turned to B, getting turned to C, getting turned to D, et cetera, et cetera. Well, in the body, all the steroid hormones are made a certain way along this pathway. It starts off with cholesterol. Cholesterol is then tweaked. You've heard this before, how all steroid hormones come from cholesterol, and they do. So cholesterol's tweaked a little bit, and bam, you got pregnenolone. That's called a chemical reaction. That's A to B. Cholesterol gets turned to pregnenolone. You've heard me talking about pregnenolone. Pregnenolone is in the top of the steroid production biosynthetic pathways. Pregnenolone, that's what makes pregnenolone over the counter, makes it safe. The substances that are at the top of these pathways, those are safer. The ones at the bottom, those are the ones you got to be really careful with, because they're at the bottom, they don't get transformed, they have to get eliminated. Estrogen's on the very bottom, testosterone's right above it. And that's what makes estrogen and testosterone drugs. Legend drugs, and that's why pregnenolone and, for that matter, DHEA are not drugs, even though they're all along the same biochemical pathway. So estrogen has got some serious problems associated with it, which we've talked about a lot. But as far as the coronavirus goes, estrogen strengthens the immune system, so you might be less likely to get the coronavirus. Personally, though, I'd be using my Ultimate EFAs, which act like estrogen in addition to vitamin C and zinc. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben and Vitamin A. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. We are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. And if you have questions about the coronavirus or formulations or skin health products or anything that's on your mind, if you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, 844-236-6010 is our number. Longevity products can be purchased by calling 866-735-2470. And if you're in the Denver area, I hope to see you this Saturday, February 29th at my lab, at 11 a.m., 2240 Curtis Street, Denver, Colorado, 80205. We'll talk skin health, and we'll talk formulations, and we'll talk longevity and longevity products, and give away some longevity products too. Hope to see you. All right, so I'm just going to do a couple stories, then we'll get your calls. 844-236-6010 from the Atlantic. Why hasn't science solved acne yet? Because, as Thomas Kuhn said in the book The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. That's a book where a guy named this scientific historian named Thomas Kuhn came up with this idea that there are belief systems that exist in the world of science called paradigms. We've talked about paradigms. One of my all-time favorite books is a book called The Paradigm Conspiracy. A paradigm is a way of looking at the world, and the powers that be have an interest in maintaining and keeping the masses in a certain paradigm, maintaining a certain paradigm for large groups of people. Structuring paradigms, shaping mindsets. So science hasn't solved acne yet because it's living under the wrong paradigm. Science thinks acne is a sickness. It's a pathology. It's not. It's a deficiency. It's a way that the skin responds to nutritional deficiencies as well as burdens, a combination of burdens and deficiencies. Wrong things in, right things not in. That's as simple as all it is. Science doesn't need to solve acne. I have doctors sometimes ask me for my studies. They want to know if there's any clinical studies that I've done on my omega-6. I don't do clinical studies. Just put it on your cut and watch what happens. That's your clinical study. Where's the clinical studies? We don't have clinical studies. What's a clinical study? You take 10 people, and then you make up a metric, and then you see what happens based on the metric. I got ingredient people coming in saying, you should use our ingredient because we have proven that it reduces wrinkles by 22.2% in 17% of the people, 13% of the time. What? What the heck does that mean? Three kinds of lies. Lies, damn lies, and statistics. And studies are based on statistics, which is a lie. That's why you don't pay any attention. That's why I don't pay any attention to studies. Now, research is different. If you're doing biochemical research and you're looking at pathways, that's different. And we collapse those two ideas, those two kinds of scientific or academic research, as we collapse those two together. We treat studies as if it's biochemistry. No, that's called epidemiology, by the way. Epidemiology is one of the biggest BS sciences that there is. Epidemiology, or I should say, drawing conclusions from epidemiology. There's a guy named T. Colin Campbell who wrote a book called it's totally discredited at this point. The China Diet, I think it's called, something like that. And he proved that people in China who drank milk and ate hamburgers, they got sicker than people who were vegetarians. But what he didn't do is he didn't check what they ate with their hamburgers, or how well they cooked their hamburgers, or what kind of beef the hamburgers came from. This is the problem with epidemiology. You can only select a few metrics, a few criteria. You can only filter with just a few things. You can't filter everything. So when they do studies on people who eat eggs and they find that they have increased heart disease, they don't check if they had bacon with the eggs. They don't check what kind of butter they fried the eggs in, or what kind of oil they fried the eggs in. They don't check if the people were smoking. They don't check if the people were overweight or diabetic. That's why the problem with studies. Don't pay attention to studies. Pay attention to science, or I should say chemistry. Pay attention to histology, the study of tissue. Pay attention to cell biology, cell chemistry. That's what we talk about in this program. If you ever listen to a health program where they start talking a lot about studies, and I know I sometimes mention studies too. Don't give me a hard time about that. I do mention studies sometimes, but only in terms of their interest, the interesting headline that's associated with it. But to take health information strictly from a study is bad science, and if anybody does it and you're listening to a radio program where they do it, it's bad science, in my opinion. You'll have to make your own opinion. That's my opinion. All right. So, not that there's not some interesting things that you can find in studies. There are interesting things there. For example, here's an interesting study. Effects of yoga on the autonomic nervous system, and on GABA, and on epilepsy, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, interestingly, and this is a study, people who practice yoga had experienced benefits for post-traumatic stress disorders, depression, epilepsy. It was a great way to activate the vagus nerve. Does this mean it's a fact? No. It just means it's interesting. You might want to try it out. GABA, too. GABA is one of the great underappreciated substances for relaxation, for sleep. It's used in seizure disorders. It's actually a prescription drug called gabapentin. It's a derivative. That's how prescription drugs work. They're always looking to tweak molecules and patent molecules and change molecules around to make prescription drugs. GABA is just an inexpensive, completely non-toxic supplement. I guess you'd say it's not really a nutrient. It's a biochemical that's made in your brain. Very simple. And guess what? GABA stands for gamma amino, GA, butyric acid, as in butter. Butyric acid is the active ingredient in butter. Butyric acid is a short-chain fat. Short-chain fats come into our bodies through fiber. That means you can get your own natural GABA by eating fiber, by making sure you're getting enough fiber, that is, and by eating butter for that matter. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to Elaine in Alaska. Good morning, Elaine. What's going on?
Hey, good morning. I'm watching the most beautiful sunrise.
Oh, you're lucky to be living out there. Is it cold, though?
But
is it really cold?
No, it's like 15. That's not bad. It's pleasant.
Well, it's a pleasant 15. I can kind of relate to that, actually. Sometimes in Denver, it's a pleasant 15. So, what's going on?
I have a comment and a question, if there's time.
Yeah, let me hear your comment.
Yeah, so a couple days ago, I think you talked about with the coronavirus, and you were saying, I smell a rat. And
I do. I smell a rat.
I'm wondering, is it a lab rat? Because I've heard, and there's various sources, but I've heard that this virus originally was made in a laboratory, and it got out.
I heard that, and I don't know if you heard this part. Check this out. There's a book that came out in the 1980s by an author named Dean Koontz, where he talks about an epidemic that's going to. You know what I'm talking about? The book was written in 1981.
Yeah.
The book was written in 1981, and in the book, there's a whole little chapter or section where they talk about a virus that's going to come out in the year 2020 from China. And in that book, they said the virus was a lab virus. Nothing surprised. Put it this way: nothing would surprise me. I don't know that for a fact, but nothing would surprise me. But the point I was making is when I said I smell a rat, is they're making too much of a big stink about this. And when government agencies and the government and politicians and all of a sudden they get on board for something like that, I'm just cynical that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm cynical that way. And the fact is you don't, like I was saying before, if they're not telling me to take more vitamin C or make sure I'm using zinc or putting out zinc, giving people zinc, I'm suspicious.
Exactly.
Because that's way more important. Zinc supplements are way more important than anything they could give you that's a drug at this point. All right, hang on. We'll take your question when we come back from our break.
Okay.
I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. Lines open 844-236-6010. We'll be back right after this. On the bright side, talking to Elaine in Alaska. Hey, Elaine. So, did that make sense? What I was saying about the coronavirus? It's not like I don't want to know about the politics of it, but until they tell me that to take my Beyond Tangy Tangerine, until everybody gets Beyond Tangy Tangerine on the government, for our tax dollars, we all get a jug mailed once a month to us. I'm not buying what they're saying. So what's going? Nice. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. If you vote for me for president, I will make sure I'm going to run for president. That's going to be my platform. That's going to be my and plus you all get a hot tub in it. And one free massage on the government once a week. How do you like that?
I love it.
Would you vote for me if I ran on that platform? Not, we're going to give everybody their drugs. Everybody's going to get their medication. We're going to make sure the medication. Everybody's going to get their medication. We all get our drugs. Drugs are terrible. It's terrible. People can't get their drugs. And I'm making fun of Bernie, but he means well. He's just 80 years old, and he buys, he thinks that, the government is there to protect him and his friends and his constituents. So anyway, I don't want to get too political here. There's plenty of politics. What's going on?
So the question I have a patient. She's doing the tangerine, but she's a school teacher, pretty high stress, trying to avoid gallbladder surgery, and just looking for advice. Fast.
Okay. And then once she starts, this is what you do for anybody who's dealing with problems with the gallbladder. First of all, the gallbladder is a bag of bile. Bile is responsible for clearing out toxicity. It's responsible for clearing out estrogen, which we talked about earlier. And it's responsible for digestion of foods. When it's overloaded, it's like oil, the oil in your car getting thick and gunky, and that's what causes gallbladder problems for the most part. It can cause inflammation in the lining of the gallbladder, it can cause stones. It just wreaks havoc. Fasting is key. Now, if she's on medication, I personally would say, wean yourself off. You got to talk to your doctor, of course, about that. And you always should talk to your doctor. If you're being cared for by a doctor, I don't like being the guy to say don't do what the doctor said. If you're being cared for by the doctor, it's not fair to go behind his back and then do something different, because he's operating with one set of facts and he's trying to succeed in his own way with one set of facts, and you're not giving him all the information. So you always want to work with your doctor. That being said, if you have gallbladder problems, drugs aren't helping you. And if you're on hormones, they're not helping you. And if you have hormone problems, that's not helping you. And if you have digestive issues, that's not helping you either. So those are the areas you want to work. Now, once she starts eating again, she should look for problem foods, number one, and then use supplements that help the body process bile. And by the way, I did a moment of truth today on digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes can help. Digestive enzymes oftentimes will have bile supplements in them, like our ultimate enzymes at Longevity. And so that's a good idea. And I might do I probably should do a moment of truth on bile. I'm going to do one here pretty soon on bile. Moment of truths, by the way, are up at criticalhealthnews.com and also our Facebook page, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. again. So those are some strategies for you. Lecithin, of course, is an all-time great bile-supporting supplement. The amino acid taurine is good. Amino acid glycine can be helpful. Swedish bitters, maybe. Anything with phospholipids like eggs can be helpful. There's a nutrient called inositol that can be helpful too. There's a bunch of ways you can start building bile and controlling the digestive issue. And if she's on drugs, getting off of those. All right.
And then apple cider vinegar. Can she do that?
Yeah. Apple cider vinegar. Absolutely. That's. I forgot about that. Apple cider vinegar. Also, a supplement that has betaine HCl in it.
Okay.
Yeah, apple cider vinegar, and also noni or aloe vera too.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good to talk to you. Have a beautiful day. Okay. Bye, Elaine. Okay. 844-236-6010. Let's go to John in Kansas. Dr. John, you always got something very cool to say. So what's going on today?
Dr. John.
You are Dr. John. Yes, sir. Why don't you give your business a plug, Dr. John? Give your business a plug.
My wife and I operate Firesign Quantum Health. We do health coaching. My wife's a holistic nutritional consultant.
You do phone? On the phone?
Actually, we hope.
Do you do phone stuff?
In person, either way.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you have
a monthly.
Go ahead.
We host a monthly community health seminar on holistic and non-medical topics. And tonight we happen to have a roundtable discussion on Alzheimer's and dementia with a local chiropractor, Dr. Milo Wilcox.
That's awesome. Now, are you Facebooking it or YouTubing it? I know you have a Facebook page, Firesign Quantum Health, with a picture of you and your lovely wife.
Thank you.
You look like soulmates, is what I was going to say. I'm looking at your picture right now.
We are
your soulmates. Yeah, it looks like that.
It works.
Good deal.
We like to open the evening with a local topic, news topic, and today happens to be National Anosmia Awareness Day.
Anosmia, that's an interesting one. National Anosmia Awareness Day. So anosmia, A like without, nos like with smell. Anosmia, no smell, right? Smell blindness.
Exactly. Well, this topic was supposed to be scheduled for another month, and it happened to be rescheduled for tonight. And as it happens, I like to check out a little bit more information about our little plug at the beginning. And we found that there is a form of dementia, or one of the dementias, Lewy body dementia, actually contributes to anosmia.
Well, think about it. It kind of makes sense, right? And Lewy body dementia is just dementia that has these kind of signs of deteriorating cells called Lewy bodies. It just means your brain's deteriorating, and it's nothing special.
Right.
But it's probably located somewhere near the nose center, right, or the smell center, the olfactory center.
The protein molecules congest around the nerve cell membranes.
In the brain or in the nose? Where locally in the nose or in the brain?
There, but also elsewhere in the body.
Got it. So it's deterioration, basically. It's a breakdown. That's what everything is. It's always just breakdown.
We talk about. Then we bring in the square of health, the fourfold square of health, and the.
Wait. Where'd you get the fourfold square of health?
From you.
John, you're quoting Pharmacist Ben in your talks there? That's awesome. Good for you.
Absolutely.
I love it. I'm honored. Thank you, John, because you're doing good work and you are a very smart guy. And I'm not saying that just because you're listening to us here, just because you listen to the bright side, but you are listening to the bright side, so that says you're a smart guy. But the quantum part is really cool. That's my thing. Is the whole quantum. We live in this chemocentric world where we focus on chemistry. We haven't moved into the quantum world yet, right? It's like science progresses funeral by funeral, what Thomas Kuhn said in The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, and we've only been doing quantum now for 5 generations. So we still haven't nailed it down. The quantum nature of health. Even though there's visionaries like yourself who are talking about it, and Deepak Chopra talks about it, Bruce Lipton talks about it, a lot of people, Greg Braden talks about it, I talk about it, but it really hasn't hit the mainstream yet, the quantum nature of health, because when that happens, we won't need the drugs, because the drugs can only interfere with quantum health. nutrients. God made nutrition, or whatever you want to call it. We evolved to use nutrition to stay healthy, because nutrients facilitate the movement of electrons in the perfect way. Drugs can't do that. There's no way we can invent a drug that would facilitate the electron movement of, say, vitamin C. That's how vitamin C works. It contributes a lot. Yeah, vitamin C works by transferring electronic energy at the quantum level. You knew that. Are you kidding me? You probably knew that. You're playing with me. All right, John. Well, anything else?
Well, I just wanted to say that your whole idea of stopping, take this for that, and trying to use allopathic paradigm to deal with
nutrition
conditions.
Yeah.
We're teaching holistic paradigm so that people look at the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical environment and take care of the whole body.
That's exactly right, John. You hit the nail. You hit the nail on the head. The whole thing, not this. The whole this for that. This I call it allopathic nutrition, where we take the idea that you're against pathology with a vitamin. Now, if you have a frank deficiency, you can do things. And I've seen a lot of things. If you're really deficient in selenium, say, or zinc, you can do some serious things. But we really want to take care of the whole body. So holism. That's what health. That's what holy. They all come from whole. This fractionating the body, dividing it up into parts and treating diseases as if they exist individually, it does not serve us. Hey, I got to go, John. Thank you for the call, buddy. Have a good meeting tonight, and it's good to talk to you, and that's all the time we have for today. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.